Health supplements and functional foods, legal developments, ingredient news, education, inspiration, entertainment, Insider in the afternoon.
Hi everybody, welcome to another edition of Insider in the Afternoon. I'm Todd.
I'm Ola.
We're the
co-factors. Woo!
We're going to work on that.
Every week it'll be an improvement, Todd.
Right? Hopefully by Expo West, we'll have it just nailed.
We will. We'll just walk around the show just saying, we're the co-factors.
We're the co-factors.
We'll be
That's right. Cool. And there isn't an Expo West, right? Like I've been getting some like texts and pings and stuff like that. Is that happening? Is the show happening? And it's like, absolutely.
I'm stoked it's happening. No, I'm so glad it's happening. I've missed it, honestly. And there aren't a whole lot of work trips you say that about, but I actually really have missed Expo. Yeah,
for sure. And, you know, on Facebook, there's Naturally Connected. That's one of the groups that everyone could join. And so there's messages out there, you know, that just have a lot more information. On Friday, the 21st of January, there's a webinar. And so all of the muckety mucks and luminaries at New Hope will be there to answer all of your questions that Ola and I aren't going to answer, except we can answer that yes, it's happening. Not only is it happening, but I'm Todd.
And I'm Ola.
We're
the co-factors. We're gonna work on that.
I think we almost nailed it on that one. Yeah. So you know, one of the other things before now and the webinar on Friday and the show, there is the Nexties. The Nextie Awards is a big part of Expo, and the winners are going to be announced on March 2nd. And so that's really huge. And, you know, so that it's been virtual the last couple of years. And so it's been a little different, but so we're going to announce it on the 2nd, and then I guess, you know, hand out the trophies and the champagne and all that stuff while at the show. So
which is super fun. If anybody's sort of people have seen that. I mean, I've been fortunate to be that, you know, in the recipient team that has received the Nextie, both virtually actually, I think, and also in person. And it's just really, doing it in person is really fun because, you know, they come over and everybody's clapping and there's a whole thing and bells are ringing and it's cool. It feels really good when you get that. It's a great acknowledgement of a product. So
and you're a winner. I didn't even know that. You're so top shelf, Ola. Everything you do turns to gold. You know, I can't wait to go
I only wish.
I'll bring my water bottle and you'll turn it into some gold tequila.
Some kind of fancy sparkling drink.
Yeah, that'll be good. So speaking of fancy sparkling drinks, so there is every night at Expo, they have a different band, and I was checking out. And so Wednesday night there's this band Southern Avenue, which I don't know, it sounds like a Southern band. But Ritual Zero Proof is the sponsor, and they won a Nextie. And I remember I was on the judging panel, you know, of all like the functional beverages, and this stuff, it tasted like exactly like rum, you know, and then it's like a rum and Coke, and it's like totally rum and Coke. And so they actually nail it, and it's alcohol free, zero proof as it's called. So that's pretty cool. Thursday night is Michael Fronte. Friday night is the California Honey Drops. So, you know, there's stuff happening 24/7 there at Expo in Anaheim. What do you look forward to? You know what? Let's just since we're winging it, let's talk about like our favorite 3 things at Expo, and let's even say Expo West. So I don't know what's one of your favorite things?
You know, there are definitely a lot of things. I would say, all right, picking one, I'll start with my manufacturer, product supplier hat on and say, you know, just seeing the retailers that you work with, that you sell to, that carry your products, having that opportunity to sometimes meet them in person for the first time or see them, you know, every single year. And it's hard when you sell at thousands of stores, as a lot of companies like HemFusion does. You obviously can't get around and see all these folks, and you're creating products for them to sell, and you're, you know, as a marketing person, I try to support them. So getting to see them face to face and just have those conversations is awesome. And again, as the marketing person, I can always say, like, hey, how are we doing? Like, are we getting you the stuff you need? And they can have that direct feedback and put the face to the name. And that is definitely one of my favorites, is just seeing the retailers that we work with and being able to chat with them.
Yeah, that's
How about
good.
you?
Yeah, so I'll follow suit and say definitely just from a professional perspective, I'm all about the supplements. And so I I could spend every day. In fact, I do spend every day just like going up and down the supplement aisles and just to see what's new. There's always something new. It is such an innovative category of consumer products, that supplements. It's so creative and so innovative. There's always something new happening, whether it's like gummies or CBD or, bioavailability enhancers, new formulations. There's always something. So I definitely get a kick out of that.
And that actually, so for me, that would be probably my second thing, is doing that. And again, as a person that's in charge of marketing for our company, obviously I'm really involved with product development. So for me, it's seeing all those trends, right? Like what ingredients are emerging that people are talking about or interested in, what's kind of trending from an ingredient or, like some of these other, manufacturing standpoint, but then also sort of color palettes. I love looking and seeing like which color palettes are emerging, what seems to be trending in color, and the approach to packaging, is glossy in, is matte in. I really super geek out on that packaging stuff.
You are such a marketer. What a marketer. I wouldn't even think about that, but that's really,
oh gosh, yeah. I salivate about that. I look, and especially I go to all the the kind of product innovation places and look at all the things and be like, okay, that's like, I'm seeing a lot of that color, or I'm seeing like, oh, we're shifting from glossy packaging to more of a matte or soft finish, or these. I totally, completely nerd out on that stuff. I love
that's
it.
cool. I really love that. That's great. Yeah. And so I would say so Expo East, it happened, and that was very much like, is it really happening? Are we really going there? And it was sort of, and the first day, all I spent the entire show, the entire day on the show floor, just seeing friends, and it's like, these are all people who like have businesses and things like that. But we talked very little shop, because it's been like a couple years since we saw everyone. So it's like, hey man, what's up? Hug, how's the skiing back east? Blah, blah, blah. How's the kids? All that stuff.
Yeah.
So like literally that's all I did that whole first day, was just like one person after another, just like I haven't seen you in a couple of years. And it's like, let's just get real and be humans about it, So just that there's like people who, there's people who cross over, but there's like professional relationships. And then there's like relationships that have gotten so good or so long or so juicy that it's like, these are friends now, you know? It's like,
and I will include in that list of my friends, a lot of my competitors, which is like the really cool thing about this industry. I have a great many competitors who have become really dear friends to me. And a lot of that comes through those relationships at Expo and shows like this. So yeah, press. You and I met that way, and here we are. So
right? I know. Yeah. I love it. That's really great. And then so the third thing I'm just going to go with, because it's Expo West, it's the ocean. I have to go. There was one year where like I flew out of John Wayne, and the plane, it takes off immediately, goes over the ocean, and then it burns the U, and heads up. And I look down and I see all the beaches, and I'm like, I was so close to the beach and I didn't go. And so like ever since that year, I make a point every year to go out and see the ocean. So that's important to me.
Very wise. And there's your wisdom from Todd for the week. Go see the ocean when the ocean is near.
That's right. The ocean is the ultimate solution.
Yes.
I think that's all probably we have time for. We should pass it off to our next segment, but we'll be back next week, kids, at the Todd and Ola show. And so, hey, we got Steve Myers, who is, an editor, the editor there at Natural Products Insider, and Steve, tell us something we don't already know. I think you're gonna walk us through the year ahead, 2022, what we have to look forward to editorially. Is that right? What do you got?
That is right. We're the cofactors. I will walk you through. So it's always great to be on Insider in the afternoon. And with this nice January spot, I get to talk about what's ahead for the Insider team, naturalproductsinsider.com. And of course, the editorial team works on our trade show education. And then we have this little thing called SupplySide Network 365. So our team does quite a bit throughout the year. And it just so happens that over this holiday, we couldn't go anywhere and no one could come visit because all the craziness going on. And so for whatever reason, I was trying to work with kids and I've got all kinds of kid things around me here. So I have props, like we're going to look ahead. It's a pirate kit to see what are the hot topics this year. What are going to be the hot ingredients. And especially we have our law dog, Josh Long, who will be looking at all the hot topics and the legislative issues and debates, and hoping that our fairy godmother gives the industry some favorable regulatory decisions. So anyway, let's jump in with our digital magazines. We produce digital magazines throughout the year. This year, we will do one per month. And so we'll hit some topics. Our NutriCosmetics issue, fresh off the virtual printer, will be out tomorrow. So naturalproductsinsider.com, check out the assets button. We will feature it. NutriCosmetics digital issue will be out. Lots of good stuff in there. And coming up ahead, we have sports nutrition innovation. And what should still be a hot topic is immune health. Contract manufacturing is always on the deck. There's always lots to talk about because contract manufacturing is such a used resource in the industry, especially for newer brands. Digestive health will get a play. And going in the summer, heading into summer, we'll have curcumin. And then a category that a lot of people don't know much about, but we've been talking about over the past few years, esports, right? There's a lot of debate. Is it sports? Are they athletes? But one thing that isn't a debate is it's a growing segment, and there's a lot of opportunity there, but you just can't dive in. You have to do it the right way. Healthy aging will round out summer. Then we have probiotics, cognitive health, bone and joint health, and then protein to end the year. So, I guess maybe all those big holiday meals will get us right in the mood to talk about protein. But of course, there are many more topics than those, and we know that. So we have all kinds of things that we're doing to cover the other topics. For instance, we're going to be doing some webinars, and they're going to head over. You'll see those over at SupplySide 365. We have a few of those coming up. I think everybody can relate to the first one, sleep and stress, and sleep and stress, and sleep and stress. And oh man, add a baby in that, and then you've got my understanding of sleep and stress. And then, of course, we'll have energy, not just sports energy, but energy. And there's always something going on with energy. Of course, there's caffeine, but there's so much more to talk about. And that's what we'll focus on in energy. And then we have not forgotten about CBD and all of its cousins or related compounds, and hemp and Delta-8 and everything cannabis. So we'll have a webinar on that coming up. And tropics will be on the deck. And we're doing something interesting with men's and women's health this year. We often treat them individually, men's and women's health. And this year, it's going to be gender health, right? For everything, for men's and women's and everything in between. Or there may be some people who have to pay attention to both men's and women's health. So we're going to be inclusive with our coverage of men's and women's health by going with gender health later this year. And then we'll round it out with some predictions on the next year, 2023, which will hopefully be better as far as in person. Hopefully this year gets us on the way. But speaking of in person, we have SupplySide East coming up in April, and you definitely don't want to try the ocean at SupplySide East. It's not a good place for many reasons. There's temperature, and then there are the weird things that float in between New York and New Jersey. You don't want to deal with that. But we have a little bit more education this year, so we're excited to kind of cover some more topics. Our great friends at MBJ Next will be covering all the trends, looking ahead. They're going to look at what's selling, what are the hot ingredients, what are the hot health condition categories. Always, always a great session. We're going to take a look at delivery forms beyond the norm and not just gummies, like whatever you can imagine, stick packs, Willy Wonka inventions, whatever we can talk about there. And then contract manufacturing again, because, during the pandemic and this economic situation, there have been some things going on that have tested contract manufacturing and the partnership. So we'll take a look at that as well as leadership in this era of labor challenges. And Immune gets another play. And then one of the biggest stories in regulatory, NAC. On its own, NAC is its own market, but it has repercussions for the rest of the industry. So that's a little taste of what we have going on over at naturalproductsinsider.com. We will have some other surprises pop up, maybe a guest editor. We might take Immune Health Digital Magazine in March and make the whole month a carnival of immune health information. And we'll certainly have some great videos. And of course, the wonderful shows Insider in the Afternoon and short legal briefs from Josh Long. So that's it from our neck of the woods. And I'm out of props.
Awesome, Steve. That was great. Yeah, Law Dog, Josh Long. Love that. The full Judy at Food Beverage Insider. I mean, the Insider, I just love the places that it can take you as a fellow professional in the natural products biz. I wish that we could take everything that you just said and just, it's like we compressed it into 5 minutes and then we can expand it for the year. There's so much happening. I know I'm a little excited. And so thanks, Steve-O. Appreciate that. And now for the last bit, we're going to talk about the Ingredient Idol winner, one of the 3 winners from SupplySide West. So let's check that out right now. Take it away, Charlie. All right. Now we have a real special part of the show today, because at SupplySide West in Vegas recently, we did something new called Ingredient Idol. And that was a lot of fun. We had 3 different categories here, and we had a few different contestants in each one. And right now in the cognitive category, we had a few contestants, and the winner is this new ingredient, relatively new ingredient to the world, called NooLVL. And it's from Nutrition21. And we're going to talk for a few moments here with Katie Emerson. Now, she's the manager of scientific affairs at Nutrition21. Katie, how goes?
Going great. I just had my NooLVL, so I'm energized and focused. So I'm ready for your questions.
All right, that's awesome. So NooLVL, that's a combination of arginine and silicate plus an optimized dose of inositol. What do these do for you?
Correct. Yeah, so arginine's a vasodilator. It's going to increase your blood flow, basically meaning we're going to get more nutrients and oxygen to the tissues, which is great. Silicon in this combination, it's really more of a stabilizer. It's a mineral, but it really helps that ionic bond between arginines stay intact. So we get increased levels of arginine in the bloodstream. And then inositol is that key ingredient. That's what's giving us those cognitive benefits, because it's believed to work on the neurotransmitter pathway and really help balance those hormones like serotonin. So the combination of all of it together is great.
Yeah, that's cool. So the arginine, then when I hear nitric oxide, I think, things that increase the blood flow to extremities. There's certain pharmaceutical drugs for men of a certain age. I know this isn't that, but it's that same sort of mechanism, right? It's like enhanced blood flow, right? And so then, do I get this right? So enhanced blood flow, so maybe nutrients can go, and then so it can deliver the inositol, maybe more efficiently or effectively. Yeah,
exactly. That's exactly how it works. If you have the nutrient that you want that's going to work on those cognitive functions in the brain, you need a vessel to get there. So that arginine just kind of helps push that blood flow through and gets that inositol to the brain better.
Cool. And so arginine, when I think arginine, I think Nutrition21. When I think nitrosogene, that was like your branded ingredient. Is that the same thing? So are you starting with nitrosogene, tomato?
Yeah. So with nitrosogene, it is the arginine, silicate, and inositol combination. But when we were testing it, because it's a pre-workout, someone suggested we should look into the cognitive benefits. So we threw one in. And when we saw increased improvements in cognition with nitrosamine, we were like, okay, so what is it about this product that's giving those benefits? And so it was the inositol. So we studied it to figure out the optimized dose of getting benefits. So we did increase 100 milligrams of inositol to create this new product, NooLVL. And that's where it came from. It all started from someone suggesting it had cognitive benefits and then finding out it really did.
That's super cool. And so kind of the marketing focus is for gamers like esports. So, you know, what video games did you play as a kid?
Loved video games, honestly. Like I love Donkey Kong and Crash Bandicoot. Yeah, my daughter plays now, so I like actually avoid Mario Kart because she wins every time. But I love video games.
I mean, it's probably a different world from when we were like when I was a kid. I was playing like in the arcade, like Missile Command and Miss Pac-Man. Oh, yeah. Those are my things. Whereas I think like kids these days, they're playing on their TV sets at home, right?
Oh yeah, they take it in the car with them. So it's a totally different world. Whereas we had those little Playboy stations. We thought that was the coolest thing ever. Yeah, that's nothing compared to these days.
Right? I mean, is it going to be an Olympic sport even?
I have read that they're considering it in like 2028 to be an Olympic sport. So that could be cool to watch. Hopefully NooLVL can sponsor it.
Right? I mean, yeah, I don't know. Do the Olympics have sponsors? I'm not sure how that works. You could have commercials.
We'll sponsor an elite, right? An athlete.
Right. I mean, would that be the summer games or the winter games?
That's good.
It's kind of year round.
Yeah, I guess it's indoors, so they can do it anytime, right?
Right. So, I mean, I think that's a really big market these days, like gamers, esports. You know, we held a whole track at SupplySide on esports for noobs, and it had really great attendance. Like, it's kind of a thing right now, and especially, you know, and for us in the nutrition biz, there's ingredients out there that could really help, right?
Yeah, I honestly didn't know that this esports was so popular until SupplySide, and you know they're thinking that it's going to be like $1 billion industry, and you know you're right, at SupplySide people's interest in this area was like booming. It was really cool.
Yeah, I think that's just really fascinating, and what I really like about this ingredient, the NooLVL, is so it. I mean, describe it for us. Like it'll help you with focus, but it's not going to give you that caffeine buzz, because that might tweak with your joystick, right? I mean,
yeah, that's what's so cool about it. Is it's a non-stimulant, and you get that increased perceived energy without all those crazy jitters, which is important for those motor functioning skills with the game console. So you don't get that. It's really neat.
Yeah. So you have said that there's 13 cool baker's dozen substantiated benefits for gamers. Go ahead, name them.
I think we have like 15 now. I think because of that new study that was published, we keep getting more data. So it works within 15 minutes, lasts several hours, enhances cognitive performance, increased perceived energy. What else is there? Increased cognitive function, increased mental flexibility, accuracy, reaction time, short-term memory. I mean, it goes on and on. It's really cool, the research we've seen here.
Yeah, so let's talk a little bit about that research, because you just had, there's 2 published studies, and one of them just got published, I think, in October. So, and they were both double-blind, placebo-controlled studies, which is like the gold standard. So can you describe these studies? Like, what did they show? What were we looking at? What was the dose? You know, what was going on there?
When we were at SupplySide, that second study was just published, which was perfect timing. The first one was Dr. Doug Kelman, Dr. Jamie Tarter from Nova Southeastern University. We had about 60 people. It was that double-blind, placebo-controlled. We really looked at the trail making test, the Stroop test, PALMS questionnaire. So this is looking at like fatigue, perceived energy, increased accuracy, motor speed, visual attention, all of that. And we saw significant improvements in all of these areas with this clinical. So then a second clinical came out, and this was with Dr. Richard Kreider at Texas A&M, him and his team. They did kind of a similar study design, but they did a crossover, which I love, because I love to see that study participant do the placebo versus the 1,600 milligrams of NooLVL, and 1,500 milligrams. it was 1,600 in the placebo. They did a battery of cognitive tests as well. And the main focus was the Sternberg task test. So this measures that mental reasoning, the reaction time, and that short-term memory recall. We saw significant improvements in those participants as well. So it's really cool to see these results come up from 2 different demographics, different people, different styles, but still that placebo controlled trial.
So were they like playing games? Like what do these tests look like? Like what are they doing? Are they like mice running around a maze, or are they like playing Donkey Kong?
They got to play video games that they were familiar with for 60 minutes. We really wanted to promote that mental fatigue. And then we tested the cognitive battery to see if did gaming decrease or increase that mental acuity? Did it increase the reaction time? So they were playing games that they were familiar with, like Call of Duty, I think was one of the games that they played.
Yeah. And so are these like one-off doses? So like, I'm just thinking like finished products. And so could you have these in like a gamer drink, and it's like, pound a drink with 1,500 milligrams of NooLVL in it and then go?
Yeah, absolutely. You can put it in almost anything. You can put it in ready to drinks. You can put in, if you want to put in an energy drink, be my guest. If you want to increase and have that caffeine, if you want gummies, capsules, tablets, they're super versatile.
That's cool. So 1,500 milligrams, that's the recommended dose in the studies. And is it like colorless, odorless, tasteless? So you could, so easy incorporation into all kinds of delivery formats.
Yeah, that's what makes it nice, is that there's no flavor. It dissolves great. So it makes it very easy to introduce to any product that's out there.
And the studies show it starts working within 15 minutes and lasts up to 6 hours. Is that it?
Yeah. Isn't that awesome? That 15 minutes we saw improvements right away. We just gave them 15 minutes to let that dose increase into the bloodstream, gave them those battery of tests and saw significant improvements. And then it stayed in the bloodstream for up to 6 hours. So it's pretty cool.
That's really wild. And then, I mean, caffeine has kind of similar, like time to activation thing. So you could see, different brands going at it in different ways. Caffeine, maybe it helps, but maybe it would be maybe it wouldn't help, like if you needed to really be precise about it. And if you were jittery, like if you were like for me, I'm really sensitive to caffeine. I don't normally do it. And you give me a cup of green tea and I'm freaking out for the whole rest of the day. So I kind of stay away. But it's interesting because it does lend itself to the imagination of product developers, where it's like, here's a great ingredient, works for this demographic, the rapidly growing gamer, soon to be an Olympic sport. And
yeah, exactly. Right.
And it really shows positive benefits. So that is no wonder you guys won the Ingredient Idol Award. That's
it was
really
a steal,
great.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. And did I hear you say that, and this is at SupplySide, that it also had effect on serotonin and dopamine levels? Was that something that you also found?
We did not measure serotonin and dopamine levels, but because nitric oxide is a neurotransmitter and that works from arginine, so arginine is that precursor to nitric oxide, it's gonna work on those neurotransmitters like norepinephrine, serotonin, dopamine. So if you're increasing arginine, you're increasing nitric oxide, you're increasing these levels as well. So this is something maybe Nutrition21 will study soon. Maybe we'll look into that.
Yeah. I'm sensing
wink,
yes.
Wink.
I'm going to go with yes on that. So really interesting because, like serotonin, dopamine, those are like feel good things. So here's something where it's sort of like a self-reinforcing, where it's going to make you a little better at these games and it's going to make you feel good about doing better. So it's like, oh yeah, I want some more of that. So this sounds like a fantastic new ingredient for this really growing new category of esports, of gamer stuff, right? Like this is like functional nutritional bioactives for the next generation, right? I mean, that's cool.
Yeah, it's exciting. We're looking to, always study and do some more research behind it and get the product out there for everyone, especially since it doesn't increase blood pressure and heart rate and those jitters. Everyone wants a little caffeine or a little energy boost without the caffeine effects, right?
Yeah. And it's also grass, generally recognized as safe, self-affirmed grass, right? So that's cool. So yeah, and then so in some of the products, I saw that it was also I saw it paired with caffeine and also L-theanine, which is sort of that green tea amino acid that makes you relax but not drowsy, and also with some B vitamins. So it's just this sounds like a great ingredient that is really gonna, it can find partners, nutritional partners with things, and it can find a lot of different product formats for this great new target consumer, right? So
Exactly. Yeah. I love it because it is versatile. You can put it with anything.
yeah, that is really great. So that is the news. I mean, have we covered it? I feel like we've kind of covered it. I feel like I need to I need a beverage with NooLVL, and I need
I know,
to,
if I could teleport you some NooLVL.
right? That would be cool. And then I could probably be a better shopper on Amazon. I could go Miss Pac-Man. That was always my game. I like playing in bars. That's always fun. I'm pretty good at that. So yeah, I mean, heck, next SupplySide West in Vegas, maybe some of the slot machines, maybe some of those one-armed bandits. We could feel better about that. Those are all luck, though. There would have to be a skill game. I don't know. Are there those gamer games in Vegas? I mean, do they?
I didn't see any, but with the Amazon shopping, we can just see how many boxes show up on your doorstep.
Right. I mean, who doesn't
I
like
don't remember buying that many stuff. Yeah.
That's great. Katie Emerson, you are the manager of scientific affairs for Nutrition21. NooLVL, that's NooLVL, capital LVL. That is the really cool ingredient, the combination arginine, silicate, an optimized dose of inositol, and it is the winner of Ingredient Idol at SupplySide West 21 in the cognitive category. Katie, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me, Todd.
All
This
right.
was fun.
Yeah. All right. We'll see you around. Thanks everyone for joining us, and stay tuned on upcoming issues of Insider in the Afternoon. We're going to cover a couple of the other Ingredient Idol winners, and so you'll just have to tune in for those. All right. That's all for now, and we'll see you again next week. Thanks.
Sustainable material.